What's going on, everybody? So, I just wanted this week to be a little light, so I decided to talk about something that I've been thinking about for just a little while now, and it is the top 10 reasons why I chose a Lenovo Legion Go over the Steam Deck OLED. Now, I've been thinking about getting a Steam Deck OLED for some time because I do want a screen that is OLED on the go, just like the good old days with PS Vita, but I just couldn't handle the fact that I was going lower in resolution. So one of the main reasons I chose a Legion Go over the Steam Deck OLED is because of its 1600p QHD screen. Now 1600p might not seem like that much of a difference for some people, but when it comes to a screen that is 9 inches displaying 1600p, that pretty much looks like 4K while playing it on the go, and I absolutely love the screen to death. It is very clear. It's not OLED, unfortunately, but it is a higher resolution, which I personally think is better because you can see more details and just overall get a crisper image, regardless of how black the blacks are and how bright the screen is. Now, I know that the SD card slot was a big deal for the ROG Ally, but for me personally, the SD card slot on the Steam Deck and the Steam Deck OLED's position is similar to the Nintendo Switch. It wasn't exactly easy to get to, especially while you're docking the system. I would have actually preferred the Nintendo Switch's SD card and cartridge slot being on the top, as well as the Steam Deck's SD card positioning. I feel like it's a huge miss that the Steam Deck's SD card slot is in the bottom. So if you're docking the system with something like the Joysticks dock, you actually can't gain access to your SD card slot, which is as good and valuable as a cartridge slot on the Nintendo Switch. So I feel like not a lot of people talk about it simply because the ROG Ally took that SD card slot positioning's attention away from all of the other handhelds. I feel like with the original Steam Deck, and apparently the Steam Deck OLED, that SD card slot positioning was just too inconvenient to get to, especially when you're docking the system. And that's the reason why I was so thankful when I found out that the Lenovo Legion Go's SD card slot is positioned on the top left, similar to the original ROG Ally, but with the ROG Ally X, it's positioned all the way to the right. So yeah, even though it seems like a small requirement, one of the reasons is because the SD card slot. Now, there is another reason that a lot of people might not expect, but I did get the Lenovo Legion Go for Windows 11. Now, me and Windows 11 have a huge love and hate relationship. Sometimes I absolutely hate Windows, and sometimes I can't get enough of it. Now, with SteamOS, of course, everything is easier to access, but you gain access to less games on SteamOS compared to Windows 11. And I would prefer to get any kind of game that I've ever wanted on Windows 11 with less restraints and just everything in place for you to play the games as best as possible, opposed to updating Proton, going to a different layer, finding out that your game suddenly randomly isn't compatible with Linux and SteamOS anymore. It really is disheartening when your favorite game on the Steam Deck gets the unplayable symbol and just doesn't work as well after it's been working for 10 months. And that was the case with my Steam Deck. Sometimes older games that I would try out a few months back just suddenly would be unplayable or count as untested. So there was the fact that the verification system on the Steam Deck is just unreliable, in my opinion, and I think almost everybody can agree with that. Now, another reason why I picked the Legion Go over a Steam Deck OLED is because it has those fancy detachable controllers. Now, these controllers have rechargeable batteries, and you can charge them similar to the Nintendo Switch by charging the actual system itself, opposed to just plugging in a USB-C to each individual attached controller. So I found that to be extremely convenient and very similar to the Nintendo Switch. And well, it actually is very similar to the Nintendo Switch because those controllers do not use Bluetooth, so you can actually turn Bluetooth off along with Wi-Fi to save a lot of battery on the Legion Go, and it definitely does help to have a separate adapter for those detachable controllers inside of the system itself. I think the controllers that the Legion Go comes with is incredible, and it's a whole other experience all on its own, especially since it has a trackpad similar to the Steam Deck. But of course, the Steam Deck's trackpad, in my opinion, is still better. But it is very good to have a trackpad when you're operating and sifting through Windows 11. Now, reason number 6 is something that people also haven't mentioned as much. The fact that the Steam Deck OLED doesn't feature Hall effect sticks opposed to analog sticks. And I know the Steam Deck OLED has a slightly more advanced version of the analog stick, but it's still nowhere near or precise as Hall effect sticks. And the reliability of the Hall effect sticks are a lot better than something like an analog stick. You're not going to get drift anytime soon, or maybe at all. And I have had a lot of trouble with analog sticks with systems like the ROG Ally and the Steam Deck. The first thing they do is rub against the top or the sides of the analog stick slot, mainly because it's mechanical and can't prevent itself from touching any corners with the magnetic technology in Hall effect sticks. An analog stick kind of rubs against the sides until it completely stops, which makes it sort of look like the sticks are just going to snap off if you cut enough of it. And with my ROG Ally, I do have a huge slice on the top of it since it always rubs against the analog slots. Now, number 7 is the fact that you can actually use the right controller as a mouse. If you wanted more precise movement to navigate through Windows 11, you actually get the option of using a sensor under the right controller as a mouse, and it comes with a stand, and that stand can be fit into the Legion Go's case as well. I think all of the extra features that makes the Legion Go more navigation friendly in desktop mode just appeals to me more. Maybe some people don't even access the Steam Deck OLED's desktop mode, but I used to access it all of the time. And so having an extra mouse or controller capable of becoming a mouse is a very positive added feature. Now, number 9 is the fact that Lenovo has been in the technology and computer business longer than Valve has. Technically, the Steam Deck is Valve's first PC of some kind. Well, they did have Steam Link, but that's nothing compared to a full-blown Linux PC. So even if they give you the best customer service, they're just not as seasoned and experienced as Lenovo naturally is at this point. Now, number 10 is probably the most important reason, but could also go back into number 1, and that is the screen size and the size of the system in general. I feel like having a bigger screen that fills the Legion Go's tablet to the edge of the bezels is just a sight to behold. I think that 9-inch screen makes a huge difference when you're trying to get yourself immersed into a game right away as soon as possible. And yes, it is easy to get immersed into an OLED screen, but I feel like the bigger screen always wins. Mainly because the Legion Go isn't really that much taller than a Steam Deck OLED, but the screen on the Legion Go is more than 2 inches bigger than the screen on the Steam Deck OLED. I think that's a significant difference. That's the same amount that Nintendo jumped when they upgraded the Nintendo Switch to the Nintendo Switch OLED. But yes, let me know what you guys think about the Legion Go. Did you pick it over a Steam Deck OLED? I know I did. And if you have any other thoughts, let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a good one. Later.